As dawn breaks over the tranquil beach, a solitary fisherman readies his boat, his silhouette framed against the awakening sky. With weathered hands, he tests the wind, a silent gauge of the day's promise and peril. Each movement precise, each task completed with a quiet resolve, he prepares to meet the sea. A lone fisherman rows his boat into the vast expanse of the sea, a tiny vessel against the horizon. He casts his nets with practiced precision, hoping for a bountiful catch. He waits patiently, battling the relentless waves. The fisherman walks heavily toward the shore, his figure silhouetted against the vivid sunset. His weathered face reflects a blend of satisfaction and resignation as he surveys his catch. With deliberate, economical movements, he begins to clean his nets, each action honed by years of practice. Lost in contemplation, he ponders the sea's unpredictable nature and the renewed hope that each dawn brings. Kai, a solitary fisherman, casts his net into the tranquil sea, embracing the serene beauty of the natural world. With seasoned patience, Kai skillfully gathers his catch, thoughtfully returning smaller fish to the depths, honoring the sea's generosity. With heartfelt gratitude, Kai whispers, "Thank you, sea, for your bounty." At the seashore, a royal procession unfolds, with King Leo observing the preparations with regal entitlement. Servants busily assemble elaborate fishing equipment, their actions a grand spectacle. The king's gaze sweeps over the scene, captivated more by the display than the prospect of fishing. As twilight descends upon the seashore, Kai stands at the water's edge, his small catch arranged, a stark contrast to King Leo's burdened nets. "Your Majesty, with respect, such abundance now may mean scarcity later. The sea gives, but it also needs to replenish," Kai cautions. King Leo retorts, "Boy, I am the king. These seas are mine to take from as I please." "But what good is a kingdom without fish, Your Majesty?" Kai questions, his eyes reflecting concern. A flicker of understanding crosses King Leo's face as he looks from his overflowing nets to Kai's humble catch. King Leo returns to the serene seashore, clad in simple attire, a solitary fishing rod his only companion. Kai greets King Leo with open arms and a genuine smile, a symbol of acceptance and renewed friendship. Side by side, they cast their lines into the calm sea, sharing a moment of quiet understanding and mutual respect. The king has returned, transformed, finding contentment in the simple act of fishing and the beauty of nature that surrounds them. As dawn breaks over the fishing village, the sky bursts into vibrant hues of orange and pink, illuminating the colorful boats. Elijah, his face a testament to years spent battling the elements, meticulously prepares his net, readying himself for the day's toil. Brief greetings are exchanged as Elijah sets out towards the open water. Elijah is alone in his small boat, facing the vast and unpredictable sea. He casts his net into the water, hoping for a bountiful catch. Patience and respect for the sea are the fisherman's greatest tools. A furious tempest descends upon the sea, challenging Elijah's resolve. Waves tower over him, threatening to swallow his small boat whole. He battles the relentless storm, slowly guiding his battered vessel back to the village. Villagers rush to assist him, their faces etched with worry as they help secure the boat. As evening descends on the village shoreline, Elijah sits by the fire, his weathered face reflecting the dancing flames. His family gathers around him, their faces lit by the fire's glow, as Sarah asks, "Father, tell me about your day at sea." Elijah recounts, "It was a fierce one, Sarah. A storm rolled in, testing the strength of my boat and my resolve. The sea can be a cruel mistress if you don't respect her power." He reflects, "I've spent my whole life on these waters, faced storms, droughts, and moments of pure, breathtaking beauty. It hasn't always been easy, but the sea has provided for us, and our community has always supported each other." Elijah concludes, "The simple joys, Sarah, those are what matter. The feel of the sun on my skin, the camaraderie with my fellow fishermen, and coming home to my loving family. These are the treasures the sea has given me." At the village entrance, a royal carriage appears, kicking up dust as it halts before the awestruck villagers. The king emerges, his simple attire failing to mask his regal presence. The village elder bows deeply, a gesture of respect tinged with apprehension. The king's voice cuts through the silence. "I wish to meet the most skilled fishermen in the village." Beside the tranquil river, King Edward and the farmer Thomas sit in quiet companionship, nature's symphony surrounding them. Thomas gently guides Edward, "Just a gentle flick of the wrist, Your Majesty. Not too hard, or you'll scare the fish away." Edward's frustration rises. "Flick? It feels like I'm going to launch the rod into the next county." Thomas offers words of wisdom, "Patience, Your Majesty. Fishing is as much about patience as it is about skill." Edward reflects on his own existence. "Perhaps too simple, Thomas. A king's life is never simple." The village square thrives with joy as the king and Thomas share a simple meal with the villagers. Edward watches, moved by the genuine warmth and strong sense of community. Edward expresses his gratitude. "Thank you, Thomas, for today's lesson. It was about much more than just fishing." Edward makes a heartfelt promise. "I promise I will return." A lone fisherman challenges the sea's fury, his weathered face a testament to years of relentless battles. With practiced precision, he casts his net into the turbulent waters, seeking reward in the ocean's depths. His movements are honed by time, each cast a blend of hope and resilience against the endless waves. Under the relentless sun, a fisherman battles the unforgiving sea, his every muscle straining against the weight of his catch. With a final, desperate heave, he triumphs, hauling aboard a treasure of 7 glistening fish. As sunset paints the sky with gold, the fisherman approaches the shore, his boat filled with the sea's bounty. He smiles, anticipating the joy he will bring to his wife with the day's catch. Bathed in the sunset's glow, the fisherman's wife stands watch outside their weathered hut, her eyes scanning the horizon with patient longing. A wave of relief washes over her as she spots her husband's boat nearing the shore. Eager to greet him, she rushes towards the water's edge, her anticipation building with each step. Admiration fills her eyes as she sees the 7 big fish laid out in the boat. The warm glow of a lantern casts a gentle light inside the fisherman's hut, where a fisherman shares a meal with his wife. "Another fine catch today, my love." "The sea has been generous," the fisherman says, his voice full of joy. "Indeed, it has. We are blessed." "This fish is delicious, dear," the wife responds, her voice full of love. "Not as delicious as you, my dear," the fisherman says, flirting with his wife. "As am I, my love." "As am I," the fisherman concludes, his heart full of gratitude. Beside the serene river, a farmer focuses intensely on mending his fishing net, his every action precise. With focused determination, he selects his bait, preparing for the day's labor. The village thrives with gentle activity, a vivid backdrop to the solitary task at hand. The farmer casts his line into the glistening river, patiently awaiting a sign. The king stands atop the hill, the wind playing with his robes, his gaze fixed upon the valley below. Through the spyglass, his intense stare focuses on the lone farmer toiling in his field. The guards stand watch, their vigilance a silent promise of safety. The farmer strains, muscles screaming, as he battles a giant from the river's depths. With a final, desperate heave, the farmer drags his prize onto the bank, collapsing in exhaustion. From the crest of the hill, the king approaches, dressed in humble garb. At the riverbank, the king towers, his polished boots mirroring the flowing water. He pivots, his gaze settling upon the farmer, who is knee-deep in the river, his every movement deliberate. The king addresses the farmer, voice echoing over the water. "What catch have you had today, farmer? And why do you spend your days fishing in this river?" The farmer replies, his voice carrying across the water. "Your Majesty, I fish to feed my family. It is the only way I know to provide for them. But also, I dream of catching the biggest fish in this river. A fish so large it will be a legend." The village king stands knee-deep in the river, casting a large net with careless abandon. He indiscriminately scoops up schools of small fish, disrupting the delicate balance of the river. The sun shines brightly, but a subtle sense of imbalance permeates the scene as he continues his actions. Beneath the shimmering river surface, the small fish king observes the village king's actions with mounting anger. His once vibrant underwater kingdom now faces depletion, a reflection of his growing distress. Bubbles rise, a silent testament to his rising anger and despair. With a subtle gesture, the small fish king unleashes his power, altering the fate of the river and its inhabitants. The village king stands in disbelief as the riverbed turns to dust, his livelihood vanishing before his eyes. What in the world? The village king stares at the barren landscape, the once vibrant riverbank now a desolate expanse. Led by a wise woman, the village king arrives in the underwater kingdom, his heart heavy with remorse. He confesses, "I am deeply sorry for my actions. I promise to respect the river's resources from now on." The small fish king listens, his anger slowly fading as he absorbs the sincerity of the apology. The river thrives anew, teeming with life under the watchful eyes of a village king. He fishes responsibly, with respect, taking only what the river can spare. The village king and the small fish king coexist, bound by a shared respect for the delicate balance of nature. A village king is unhappy because he can only hunt small fish, and his wife shares his dissatisfaction. The village king, a man of modest stature and weary expression, stands knee-deep in the river, casting his net. He pulls it up, revealing only small, insignificant fish. His face is etched with frustration. Villagers nearby cast sympathetic glances but continue their own, more successful fishing. The king sits at a rough-hewn table, picking at a meager meal of the small fish he caught. His wife, a woman of sharp intelligence and ambition, watches him with barely concealed disdain. She says, "Is this all we are destined for? To eat tiny fish and live in this humble hut?" The king sighs, "What else can I do? The river offers little else." The king addresses his villagers, attempting to rally them to improve their fishing techniques and explore new fishing grounds. He speaks with passion, but his words are met with polite but unenthusiastic responses. His wife observes from the sidelines, her expression suggesting she believes he's wasting his time. A rival village elder subtly undermines the king's efforts with cynical remarks. The king and his wife argue late into the night. She urges him to take more drastic measures to increase their power and wealth, suggesting alliances with neighboring villages or even more forceful tactics. The king is hesitant, torn between his desire for a better life and his sense of justice and fairness. The scene ends with the wife planting a seed of doubt in the king's mind, hinting at a path to greater power through less honorable means.